Hello, I'm Greg Bird. I'm the Associate Department Head, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's student speaker. Mr. Kyle Barth is from Waynesville, North Carolina, and he's graduating summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering with the Renewable Electric Energy Systems concentration. Kyle is the 2014 ECE Faculty Senior Scholar, the recipient of both the ECE Award for Leadership and the Outstanding EE Senior Award with a 4.0 GPA. During his time at NC State, he's been a very active student leader. He completed the University Honors Program as a member of Phi Kappa Phi, Tau Beta Pi, and Eta Kappa Nu. His other roles have included chair of the Sustainability Fund Advisory Board, vice president of Eta Kappa Nu, undergraduate co-founder and vice president of membership for Net Impact, professional development chair of Tau Beta Pi, student government senator, honors village fellow, and Quad Sustainability Committee co-chair. Kyle's received numerous scholarships and awards. He's a Goodnight Scholar, an ABB Smart Grid Scholar. He was runner-up in the Think Outside the Brick proposal competition for a Quad Light Timers energy savings proposal. He's been an undergraduate research assistant for Dr. Masoud Baran in the Freedom Center, and a major projects intern with Progress Energy, and an intern with Green Energy Corporation. Kyle's areas of interest include smart grid, utilities, sustainabilities, and when he graduates, he'll be joining ABB with the Power and Automation Leaders Program in Washington, D.C. Please welcome Kyle Barth.
Good morning, everyone. Faculty, family, friends, and fellow graduates. It's great to be here today. I think if you talked to a lot of us 2 weeks ago, we were definitely counting down the days and we weren't sure if we were finally going to get here. So they always say with engineers that we tend to stay over budget and fall behind schedule. So I've got a lot to talk about today. We have over 4 years of shared experiences together, but I'm going to try and get through things very quickly. And I have a challenge at the end that I'd like to give to all of my fellow graduates. So I'll start just recapping a little bit of what we've done as students here at NC State. I'll start with the geography of campus. Imagine yourself when you joined NC State. It was many years ago for some of us. We first stepped on campus. We weren't sure what our major was necessarily, and we got to see a new college campus. It was really exciting. But then think about some of the changes we've seen in our 4 years, sometimes more years here. We've seen Centennial Campus, our home of the ECE department, grow immensely. We have the new Hunt Library. We have new student housing. And then we've seen many corporate partners join NC State on that campus. And then more recently, I have to say, if you haven't gotten a chance, please go check out the new Talley Student Center, because it's bringing some of that same innovation and new architecture to main campus, the historic side of our campus. So that's just the geography. We've seen those changes, but then we don't just live here, we work here, and we do research. So at this department, ECE is the only department of the only college in the United States that hosts 2 National Science Foundation engineering research centers. And recently, we were just awarded the largest single grant in the university's history. That's $140 million by President Obama himself. That's our department in partnership along with the rest of the College of Engineering. So that really highlights to me how great a place this is and how great an opportunity it has been for us to be a part of. So that's just the fun facts about the university. We can read about those on the website. But as students, we've had a lot of shared experiences. We've had classes together. A lot of us 2 weeks ago just finished up with our senior design projects, and many of us were the first participants in a 2-semester senior design program. I bet a lot of us sitting here now could still tell you more than you would ever want to know about our individual subject for our projects. And in terms of coursework, we've kind of moved on into different specialties. There are many specialties here in the ECE department. But we've shared the same experience of long, arduous project work. We've all had those test weeks where we're just not sure if it's going to finish up, definitely counting down the days to today. And we've really learned what it means to be an engineering student. It wasn't all academics, though. We had our chances to have fun. We got to eat the marshmallow once in a while, as Dr. Rode mentioned, at least when NC State wasn't playing a basketball or football game. Maybe next year. I'm keeping up hope. But that's a lot of experience. That's a lot of shared experiences. I think it's interesting to compare our shared experiences, though, more to the history of the university. If you look back at this university's history, we just turned 126 years old this year, you'll see that this is kind of par for the course for NC State. Let's go back to even as early as 1887 when the university was first founded. Imagine being that first class. Imagine the first class to set foot in Holiday Hall, our first building on campus. And ever since, if you look from 1887 to now, NC State has been a timeline of innovation. You can go from east to west on our historic main campus, and then you can come south to Centennial Campus to see the different eras of development for the university. It might be hard for us to imagine, but in 1961, when Harrelson Hall was built on the Brickyard, that must have been a really cool building. Think about it. The first circular building among all these brick buildings, similar to the Hunt Library that we talk about now. And then, if you're a sports fan, you can look back to the 1983 Wolfpack Cardiac Pack basketball team with Coach Jim Valvano. And throughout the 80s, we were known for innovating a bit of a strategy in late game in basketball, fouling the other opponents, making them have to hit free throws. I think some of our friends down the street at UNC and Duke might still be frustrated with us. But we came out with a national championship in '83. So truly, I think innovation is built into this university. And moving forward, I think it's important to highlight that we are part of that history of innovation. We aren't the first to walk across this stage today. We aren't the first to receive a degree from this department or from the college. We're about to enter an alumni network that's 120 years in the making. And Dr. Stansel will mention a little bit more about this at the end of our ceremony, but there are opportunities to stay involved. And we have to stay involved because we have some big shoes to fill. Dr. Rode just spoke to us about what he's done since he has graduated here. And just looking through our history, in recent history, this department has produced someone who's about to be an astronaut, and we also had a prime minister, the interim prime minister of Libya, last year. So that really goes to show that there are limitless opportunities from this engineering degree. That kind of begs the question, we're celebrating here today. A lot of us come from different backgrounds, different specialties in engineering. And then you compare that to the history of the university, and we have 20 years in the past, we may not recognize the curriculum. As 20 years in the future, we'll come back as alumni and probably still not recognize the curriculum. But why do we receive the same degrees? And I think it has to do with these shared experiences and the shared characteristics that we've gained from our years here at NC State. I'll just highlight three, and you could name many more, but I think these three kind of summarize what we've done here. So the first characteristic we gain here as students is persistence. That's why we're all here. We had weed out courses early on where we were all together, all in those late nights working on homework assignments, our hardware projects, and really just having to grind through and learn. And then we've all moved into our own specialties, but we're learning how to learn even further. And that's where persistence comes into play. Next is adaptability, which if for any of us who have taken senior design or for any of us who have had capstone project work, it's about more than just the coursework. A project can be very hard to put together, especially when you're told to put together a schedule, do risk analysis. For anyone in Professor Dunko's senior design, put red and green lights on your program reviews. But we truly have learned how to learn here as students. And finally, our third thing that we've learned is integrity. Because without integrity, none of the previous two would matter. As engineers, we learn about discipline. Because disciplined decision making is what is needed when you make decisions that could influence the health, safety, and public welfare. And we may not all be going into engineering positions, but we can take that disciplined decision making with us anywhere, along with the integrity. And so I already highlighted that we're becoming a part of this history at NC State. And so, as I mentioned, we have big shoes to fill, and we're all headed off to different places across the country. Some of us are headed internationally, graduate school, work, and really just some amazing things. But I'd like to close with just a brief set of challenges as we move forward as graduates of NC State. My first challenge is keep up the intensity that we've had during our time here. We had some very tough times, finals week every year, lots of coffee. But if we can keep up that intensity level, then we can truly prove ourselves at the next level, whether it be graduate school, whether it be a job. Next is think like an engineer, not just in our technical field, but think like an engineer outside of the field. From principal investigator to prime minister, I think what we learned here is valuable. I'll quote Dr. Snyder, who stood here and gave a speech 2 years ago. Don't worry so much about the details. We may not have to know something specific about DSP or circuit analysis for our next job, but we have the tools to learn about it as we go along. And finally, don't forget about your roots. Don't forget about where you come from. You have to stay involved in the network here at NC State. But more than just NC State, we have a lot more people to thank than just the faculty and staff here. We have our families to thank. We have our entire communities that we're from. Because without them, we wouldn't have made it this far. So we're all headed off to very awesome places. But don't forget to take time to stay in touch and visit home once in a while. It's truly an honor to share this celebration with each and every one of you today. Congratulations to all of us. But now it's time to show the world what an electrical engineer from NC State can really do. Thank you.